And welcome back to another route slash guide anyway. Straight on with all those anyway. If you are curious where they are, they're on that wall, and you also need to open that up to get into them. Obviously, key on into neutral, open the doors, or you can press the buttons here and the doors there to close. Headlights on this, for some strange reason with a keyboard, will probably be like that. That's a bug, I believe. And I will admit, that is actually us pretty much set up. We've got no working anything else. We've got a green signal, so we don't need to put the DRA on. And yes, we're doing a service to London St Pancreas. We shall be stopping at pretty much every stop on the route. And yes, we'll be heartless, obviously. But as we stop at the station, I'm going to need that on. But obviously, let's have a look at the schedule so you can see where we're stopping at. We're stopping at Sittingbourne, Rainham, Gillingham, Chatham, Rochester, Strood, Gravesend, Edsfleet International, Stratford International, and London St Pancreas. This will be split up into two parts because I can only record on a PlayStation for 60 minutes, and this run is set to take an hour and 7 minutes. So that will be the case, and I will also state is that we may also get a randomly intermise of anything to do with perhaps a signal sort of delay wise, which can happen, or a temporary speed limit. And let's close doors and take the HUD off and into fours. So departing at Faversham, the speed limit is only 25, but I will always say you can always look at that is 25 if you're on the map. It's easier. 25 from over here really, but it's 15 from here. It's actually full line speed in the middle. No, it's actually 15. There's my mind going absolutely bonkers. It's allowed to be a little bit bonkers because I've been at work. But what are we? We are a single unit, so we're just a 6-coach train. So at every stop we will be looking to aim to stop at the 6-car mark. We can pretty much start accelerating up to the 60 after we've passed the points. And straight up into step 4 and we're off. And we can go straight up to 75. We will not have to worry about anything when we hit 60 because we've been past that by that point. The 395 Javelins do not have a very perfect acceleration under the third rail, but where we're on overhead we will have actually a much better acceleration. Dynamic weather is enabled, so hopefully that will spawn us some fun. I have got a keyboard plugged in, but I am playing with a controller. And as I said, we will be long past the 75 board to accelerate up to 75. We are on a slight downhill gradient, so yes, you will see the speed creep up. And we shall be past the 85 ball right now. And we can accelerate up to 85. I will say is you won't have any orbital warnings for any reductions on this side of the line. I'm only backing off on the speed for now. Just allow the back to go through the 90 ball before re-accelerating back up to making sure we hit 90. While we fly through Taylor Station, the next thing for us to really look out for now is a reduction, which is only down to 5. But you will not have any walrus boards for that. I've never noticed a rattle on here before until with headsets on. The 85 is on its approach, and we're down below 85 with just allowing the train to coast. And the hill that we're on is actually not allowing us to accelerate, even though I am in full power. But I will back off right now and let the train on its own self do a bit of a slowdown. Just under this bridge I will put a bit of brake on, a bit more than just a minimal set. So that is the minimal. So I will always go up to about between 40 and 45% for to start with. But I will back off the brake when required. And that is a bit of lag, so there might be a livery set at the station with a networker. As we arrive at Sittingbourne, and I'm going to add a tad more brake to put it up to 50. You are able to actually come in at quite a decent pace on this one sometimes, but I will put it up because we are coming a bit too hot, because we need to stop at around just after it is, if I remember correctly. Ignore me, it's actually, yes, technically is just afterwards, but I haven't driven this route for a while. Back into neutral and open the doors. That is also the bug. It's still there for the HUD. So the networker there is a service that goes off to down the Sheerness branch. In this stone age now, it is a class 377. That is the 3-car variant that does that. Not a 465, but during this time frame, in truth, a 466 would have been the one that ran the services. But obviously, we haven't got a 466 in TSW. I've just opened up the other door by pressing the wrong button. Right, they should be shut. Backing up and forwards and off we trot. And we can now go into full power. Departing from Sittingbourne, the track speed is 90 miles an hour. But it will be going down to 75 after the track joins us from Sheerness. Not the first set, the second set of points. And at Rainham, we will be also heading for a 6-car marker, which is on its own, not connected to any of the other stop markers. So the 4 and 8 are on their own, are not connected together. That's 1 line off down to Sheerness. The other line is now coming in from Sheerness. It does actually form a triangle. The track speed is still up to 90 miles an hour, but it won't be too far away from it going down. That little bit of lag was because the blue southeastern livery, not the blue one, the blue lined southeastern 375 livery, which is available on Creators Club. None of these crossings actually, have some strange reason in the game, have a whistle board at them. That diamond we passed is a coasting board, and there's the 70. But we've not even hit 70 yet, so I'm leaving us into full power. The one before for the 40 at the does not affect us. If I remember rightly, there is actually a whistle ball going in the other direction, but not going in this direction for some strange reason, which we are on the up line. I'm going to keep it at about 69. It'll do us perfectly. If you were stopping at Newington, you would have been chopped down by the signals from a single yellow, from a double yellow to double flashing yellow to single yellow flashing, and we can go up to 75. Next stop will be Rainham, which is the first of a small number of stations we will be stopping at on a little bit of a frequent stopper service. It will only be depot movement or special services you will end up flying through Rainham and a freight. And with it being autumn as well, we're in October within the game as well, I'm on the date what I'm recording this on, we may see the RHTT running around doing its duties on the line. The fourth track will come back into being just a 2 track just before Rainham level crossing. And time to also start doing a little bit of braking as we come into Rainham. Remembering where we're stopping is not far from where the crossing actually will be. One good rule is to try not to go up into the red on the brake gauge. So yes, we do want to come in a bit more slower. And I'm going to back off the brake just to keep it on minimal for a bit time and then put us up a bit more. Once again, I've overly done that, but I'm going to say this: you quite often do see drivers do that in real life. And like on this time I have put it into max brake and neutral as well. Oh, I'm inside the waiting shuttle. Departing Rainham, the track speed is 90 miles an hour, but it will be going down to 60 before we get into Gillingham, which is actually how far as the furthest I've gone on the line between from London and Gillingham is where I have been. But I went on these this might even be this exact service actually, or round about this type of time frame, or an hour difference. I actually got on the train to go to London back in the summer, and my videos of at Gillingham and at the level crossing and Tunbridge are all available on YouTube for you to see. And I also saw a rail tour go through as well. Unfortunately, that was not steam, that was diesel. But yes, I got choked out at Gillingham on the footbridge. The AWS warning needs acknowledgement for the 60, which you don't have to brake for too quickly because we're only going just over 60. And pretty much we're now at 60, and I'm just going to pretty much not touch the control now, because we don't have too far to go until we hit the station of Gillingham. And yes, I did see the Pride 350, not 350, the 390, 395. But I saw it when I was walking back from the Sainsbury's at Gillingham which is obviously on that side of the track. That AWS warning for those that 35 over 60 is only to freight, which is the 35 is for freight traffic. And I'm just going to put a minimal bit of brake on as we come in to Gillingham. The Sainsbury's is down that way. Yes, there was a Southern 377 parked up in that siding when I visited. There's nothing parked up in the siding where the 37 is. All I pretty much saw was this, Electrostars and 700s. I didn't see much of a networker. And we will be aiming to stop at the end of the platform. Allow the brakes to release for a little bit and then reapply. If you're a 700, you'll be stopping service right bang on that one there at the reduced length unit. Come on, get going, don't stop. And we should be stopping on the mark. Max bike you as well. Departing from Gillingham, the trucking speed is 60 miles an hour, but it will be going down to 50 miles an hour before hitting 35 miles an hour before we enter Chatham. Chatham is also the home of Ducktail Games. Which I'm not employed by or an ambassador for. You will see the reduction Bournemouth ball for the 30 but not the 50 miles an hour. I will allow myself to go up to a little bit more than 50 and that should do us perfectly fine. Sometimes you will find the best way to find out if you're on a hill or not is just to let it coast. And as we pass the 50 board, I'm now going to start reducing this down to 30. And I'm going to allow us to keep braking for a little bit of time, just so it actually doesn't too bad. At Chatham Station, once again, we'll be aiming for the 6-car marker, which is actually joined up with an 8. And it is also joined up with the 4-car marker, which I find a bit weird. Only because of one reason. If it's wet and you've got a 4-coach train, you're getting it very wet at the platform if you're in the middle of a downpour. Let it coast up a bit. Yeah. If we actually are, in that sense, we're bang on where we're supposed to stop. But you can't tell because we've literally got everything in the way. Departing from Chatham Station, the track speed is 30 miles an hour, and that will remain at 30 miles an hour until we hit after Gillingham Station, after Rochester, I mean, and that is Rochester New. Yes, I just called it new because we will be heading past Rochester Old, or the original platforms, very shortly after immersion from the tunnel. Which, if I remember correctly from what I remember hearing about and also seeing in Train Simulator Classic, or just Train Simulator, the platforms at Rochester Old, which is what we're about to go through right now, as it were actually not long enough for the trains that they wanted to run, especially a 12-car service. Even an 8-car coached service struggled to fit in the platform. So they moved it just down the line. And ultimately took out the 4th platform and only had a 3-platform station. And at Rochester, we will be looking to stop at the S-car marker, which is at the opposite end of the platform. And we should be on the right mark. That's actually probably a bit more of a better stop than we did last time. What I will say is I'll cut this at Strood, which is very much just down the line, and I will move on to a second part of the video as we head into London St Pancreas. So if you don't know how to do the changeover, don't forget to hit the like video and you will see how to do that. Because that will be a perfect time frame. Departing from Rochester, the track line speed is 30 miles an hour, but very much not very much after we exit the bridge, it will have dropped down to a dismal 20 miles an hour, and then a dismal 15 miles an hour as we enter Strood. And if you look to the right, you would ultimately see a submarine that is there in real life. And yes, I did spot that. And over we go. And we're on a very much a downhill that is very, very steep. So your speed will creep up quite quickly. So I'd advise people to drop their speeds a lot more quicker. And get down a little bit easier. That signal will actually probably be not a good placement for a signal. And there's the 15, which, if you remember rightly, before they extended this route, originally from the original one, that 15 mile an hour speed limit sign was not actually placed on the route. The 377 over there will be either from Paddock Wood or Tunbridge, and has travelled along the Medway Valley line, which I know are one and only mole man will probably want in the game. And we stop in at the 6 car marker. So, like I said, I'm going to leave this part here then. So thank you very much for watching this part 1 of the trip to London St Pancreas. I will say, don't forget to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. And I will see you in the very next part, which I will start after this. But once again, thank you very much for watching. And I hope you'll come back and watch part 2. Thank you.